Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts Spiritech and Chibi Bree are back from their latest adventure.
Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Golden Feather. This on December 17th, 2021, we have episode 106, Another Year Ends, 2021, featuring Iron Smithy. How are you today, friend guest?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Ooh, our pleasure. Happy to have you here. And, as always, in the other hot seat here, we have co-host in life and show, Chibi Bree.
Hello. And welcome, Raiders from Paradox Gaming Network. Welcome to the Golden Feather. We just started our podcast.
Thank you, Paradox.
So, yeah. We hope you guys are all doing well, and I am so excited to introduce you guys to Iron Beardy.
Yeah, Iron Beardy. In case you don't notice the name tag yet, it totally says Iron Beardy, because that's one thing that came to mind for me, and that's what she accidentally called you a time or two, and I was like, it's Smithy.
I love it.
But I thought the same thing.
I was trying to find you.
I was like, you see some of his videos, he does have a magnificent beard anyway, so it works.
I used to have a magnificent beard, and then I shaved it off for charity, and now we're starting to grow it back out again.
Hey, it's worth it for charity.
Absolutely, always.
That's how I feel. Oh my gosh.
Well, speaking of...
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. Least I could do for you guys invited me to come on today.
Well, go check out our guests. These are his links.
So he goes, oh my god, I won. Hello and welcome, Wizzy. Welcome, Z. And Karthos, Grumpy, and Vale, by the way.
Welcome.
And Tirson.
Glad to have you guys.
And welcome back.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Sir, I do know that right meow, you're not doing a whole lot of Ashes content, but then again, honestly, there's not a lot of people who are at this exact moment, so it's not odd. But, seeing as how you are looking to do Ashes content down the road, what brought you to Ashes? What was the biggest thing of interest to you that made you say, this has my attention, now I want to know more?
Yeah, so, I mean, for that, we got to go back to, what was it, I think 2017 when the Kickstarter was announced. I was a still active WoW player back then. I've been an MMO player for life. I mean, I started with EverQuest and then EverQuest 2 and then Final Fantasy 14, and I've played Aeon and pretty much you name it. If it was an MMORPG, I've tried it. And one of the things with pretty much every MMORPG that I've played is eventually it just gets repetitive and sort of redundant, and you know, you're constantly repeating the same thing. You're trying to get to max level. You're grinding out those raids, getting the best gear, rinse and repeat over and over and over again every expansion, right? So what attracted me to Ashes of Creation initially was the fact that they were willing to try to shake it up a little bit, be extra ambitious, and have these insane number, like PvP sieges, and have these open world instances where we're going to go and raid and explore and everything like that. And obviously the art style of it really attracted me to it. It was a beautiful looking game, even with their Kickstarter like announcement trailer. And it was a new MMO. It was a new MMO coming into a space that really needed something new, something fresh, something to push the boundaries and be ambitious like they're doing. So I've been following them pretty much ever since Kickstarter. And then finally took the leap last year to buy into Alpha 1, and then we did some streams once the NDA was lifted. I've created some YouTube videos on it as well, and we've been paying very close attention sort of ever since then, over the last year for sure.
Nice. Yeah, that's one thing that kind of got me interested as well, or one thing I got really interested in was the large scale PvP stuff with actual objectives and things to do besides just go do the same map all the time. No, exactly. Besides just see how many people you can kill and do the same map, lather, rinse, repeat. No, it's different people, different tactics, different nodes, and different stages of development.
Yeah.
So
And
that's really
one of the
cool.
things, that I really enjoyed was the opportunity to do some of those siege testing and seeing the different dynamics that the actual, like the dragon world bosses and stuff like that give us as we're going through the sieges. That was really cool to see, because like you said, a lot of it, you see sort of the same PvP styles in every MMORPG, where you're either doing like a capture the flag style, where you hold enough points to get more, to reach a goal before like the other team or something like that. But to have, that dynamic where, hey, you can go kill a world boss if the other team doesn't come and counter you, and if you kill them, you get extra bonuses and advantages and stuff like that. Like that was a really cool dynamic that they've added. So I'm just really excited to see sort of how it keeps shaping out. We still got a long way to go, but seeing the direction everything's heading in just is keeping me very, very much focused on everything that they're doing. So
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, there were 2 other games I played that tried really large scale PvP. One of them was PlanetSide 2, which didn't try, it succeeded. They did really well, and I was really impressed by performance on everything. You have a ton of people out there. And then SOTOR. I started at launch, and the first major big PvP battlefield, it actually caused them to say, you know what, let's dial back how many people we have, because everybody froze.
I played SWTOR as well.
Bad.
Especially when it initially launched and stuff like that, was another one that endgame was sort of lacking for those of us who like to push a little harder and get there quick. I remember getting to max level in SWTOR and then sort of having all my raid gear within a couple weeks of raiding, and I'm like, okay, now what? Like that. Now what do I do? I can make other characters because the storylines were amazing. That's one thing that I do think SWTOR did very well, is having those sort of like dynamic storylines for like all the different classes and stuff. But other than that, it was like there was an extreme lack of like endgame, right? And the PvP had some issues at first, and but it comes with every MMO, and you see this all the time. And it still makes me laugh every time we see it in alpha, because the game's being tested. This is the reason we're tested. Yet you still get people like, oh, well, this is broken and that's broken and that's broken. It's like, yeah, that's why we're testing it, and I expect a certain amount of issues with every full release as well. Because no matter how much we test, no matter how much we do, like you never can plan for exactly how many people are coming into a game. And no matter how much you try, I expect a certain degree of issues with every release that comes out. And some people get all up in arms, complaining about, well, this is a full release and stuff like that. But it's like, just give them some time, guys. Let them work it out. And I'm sure it'll be good to go, right? But and it happens more often than not. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Ashes.
Yeah, you always cross the fingers for a perfect launch, but it's never really a thing. I don't know any game that's launched perfectly except for ones that didn't get anybody really logging in to play on launch day.
That's it, right?
I mean, look at Final Fantasy, for example. There's still people being booted off the server.
Yeah.
So, or like not even able to log in, and they are an established game at this point. So
yeah, absolutely, right. And I think a lot of that too with Final Fantasy specifically is they had that like massive influx when everything started going down with World of Warcraft, right? You saw a lot of people, a lot of streamers, everybody moving over to Final Fantasy, and I think a little bit of that came maybe unexpectedly to them, where they had to react a little bit.
Surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it's how well the dev team sort of react to those situations and overcome them that is what is going to determine if I'm going to stick with them or not. If they've made notice of an issue or a problem that's been reported or something like that, but it still takes them X amount of months, let's say, to fix, then that's a problem, right? But if you identify it, you make it known, and you work on it and get it sorted out as quickly as possible, then that's the kind of things that I'm looking for. And that's one of the things I like about Ashes is the dev team so far has been very transparent with a lot of things that they're doing. And they're sort of keeping us informed as best as they can within their bounds, right? So, and being involved this early and seeing sort of how active they are, like in the Discord and stuff like that, it's what's kept me so impressed. And I've talked about it to my community, I don't know how many times now. on how impressive it is to see like Steven actively like in the Discord, like talking with us and stuff like that and going over things and messing with us in the alphas and, and everything like that. So it's cool to see how hands-on they are and how involved in the community they are.
And the greatest part, I
agree.
think, is comfortable enough to playfully troll people.
Exactly.
Like he's just another one of the gamers hanging out is really what it feels like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Top Notch, welcome to the channel, by the way. Thanks for stopping by.
Welcome in.
This month's cosmetics. Ooh, yeah, we usually chat about cosmetics a little bit later. Let's finish introducing Mr. Iron Smithy to people here. So, do tell everybody, what is your typical I guess game that you normally play on your streams, the normal things that you cover and talk about?
So we were playing New World for a while. New World ended up getting to a spot that was a little rough. So we stepped back from New World a little bit in the meantime until hopefully some of the issues get sorted out. But currently I am basically full sending Grand Theft Auto roleplay. In the meantime, while we wait for like some Alpha 2 or some, Ashes of Creation stuff that we can do again, with the full intention being that we will full-time stream Ashes once it comes out. But yeah, right now I roleplay as Officer Wade Wilkinson, who is a SWAT officer, and that's pretty much what we do 6 days a week.
Nice.
Yep.
So,
I dig it.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying I dig it. That's it.
I was going to ask, what do you guys think is the big announcement that they're going to hold off from this week doing their live stream to next week? Vertic and I had some ideas. One idea we had was something to do with the content creator program.
Mm-hmm. That'd be nice. I mean, a lot of us have been waiting for, I don't even know how long now. Since they announced that, right? I don't, into the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, well, maybe they just reached out to like individuals quietly type of thing. But that would be nice. The other thing I was sort of thinking with that is maybe they got news on Alpha 2, maybe a little bit more. That'd be nice to get like some kind of official date for that, or so we could start working and planning for that. But yeah.
Okay. Any other, I have 2 more spots. Any other ideas of what it could be?
Yeah, see, I don't know. Because I originally thought, like you were saying about the, when we were talking about it, like the content creator program and all, but then I reread through the announcement. It did say an integral component of the development for Ashes of Creation. And while content creators are an integral part of, just the public outreach and stuff, I'm not necessarily sure it's an integral part of the development. Maybe because they did just announce also there's going to be a little crafting thing going on Tuesday the 21st. Maybe it's some more announcement on crafting stuff.
Okay, and that
like
would
actual
be
info about the crafting system being developed out.
That would be integral to development, I would say. Crafting is going to play a big role, so that's
all right.
Yeah.
All right, I have a 5-minute poll. Wait, actually, I'll put it for 10 minutes. I have a 10-minute poll going at the top. So tell us what you guys think it could be. We'll see. We'll see who's
Wizzy
right.
McNasty says combat.
Combat. Oh man.
Combat's another big thing that we've all been waiting to see, that new flushed out version of their hybrid combat system, right? So.
I'm almost thinking they're going to hold out on any real combat info until right before the Alpha 2, when they have to start telling people like, hey, when you go to play the A2, this is the stuff you're going to see. Just so you're not surprised and spending the first day getting used to all the changes.
So the options I have here are CC program, Alpha 2 news, official dates for things, another A1 test, or crafting info. Those are the poll options.
Another A1 test. Interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, because if it's something like crafting, maybe they might have another series of Alpha 1 tests before Alpha 2.
Yep.
It's quite possible.
That could be,
that was one of the things I was
interesting.
thinking. Yeah. So I want to see what you guys, the community, think. So it's at the top of your screen if you're on computer. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I was going to say, they're going to do some minor iterative updates before the Alpha 2 comes out. So that's going to be it for sure. But yeah, another date for Alpha 2 would be nifty. That'd be nifty.
At least something. I would love to hear that.
All right. So before we dive into stuff that we've collected through, have you, sir, heard anything nifty, crazy, or fun in the past, say, a month that you just haven't been able to talk about, or even 2 months that you haven't been able to like really chat with anybody about?
In regards to Ashes?
In Ashes, yeah.
I don't think there's anything I've heard of that I can talk about that has come out in the last month or so. I know there's a lot of sort of theories and sort of people guessing sort of what's going on in timelines and stuff like that, but definitely nothing official. And I know there's a lot of people, especially quite a few in my community, that are very big MMORPG fans, and we're looking for that new thing. A lot of us sort of hoped that New World was going to be that, and it wasn't. And for a lot of us, I mean, in my personal opinion, and I know there's going to be people who disagree with me. We sort of deal with it all the time, but there was gaps of content that needed to be there, I think, that weren't. And it made it very difficult. It made it feel very grindy after a while. Like so I feel the way it went with New World that I hope Ashes is able to counter was like 1 to 30 was a lot of fun. You get to see a lot of new things. The combat was good, like everything like that. And then from 30 to 60, like you have these massive gaps in like questing. You get level locked out of main storyline quests, so you're forced to either just go grind mobs or craft. And for those who don't like crafting, it sort of forces you down that path to be able to level up enough to get to your next main story quests and stuff. And it got very tiring is the best word I think for it. I got burnt out quicker than I think on any MMO I've ever played, just because it was forcing me to do things I didn't want to do to be able to level. And I'm definitely hoping that Ashes avoids that.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Vertec and we've both been kind of on the nervous side of jumping into any MMOs. We're especially waiting for Ashes of Creation, but I am in the same boat as you. I was playing World of Warcraft back in like 2016 when the Kickstarter came out, and I was like, ooh, look at this MMO, it's shiny. And then I jumped on that, so I was fed up with World of Warcraft, and I stopped playing kind of shortly after that. And then we jumped into Final Fantasy for a bit, and we're thinking of jumping back into it again soon, but it's just with all the work hecticness going on, it's been hard to find time to play a little bit, at least for me, because I go to bed. I'm a grandmother now. I go to bed at 11.
Nice.
But I also get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning because I'm trying to get back into working out. So yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, I feel you, and I've been looking at Final Fantasy 14 again as well, especially with like the new expansion and everything like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's
which class?
It's gonna be good.
If you're gonna hop in right now, which class?
Okay, so right now my main's a samurai, but I'm gonna be trying out that Reaper for sure.
Nice. I want to try out the Sage.
Gotta try out that Reaper.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, Tierson, I agree.
So we were talking about a bunch of nifty features that interested us about Ashes. Definitely have a lot of unique things coming in, or if not unique, at least a unique spin on ideas from other places, and a unique way of combining everything together. But what do you think would be a random or obscure feature from other games that you would want to see in Ashes? This is a post from a Glorf Warlock on Reddit.
Yeah, I saw this. Okay, so there was somebody that made a comment here that I wanted to touch on. Let's see here. So a lot of people in here they were talking about like having selfie cams or like a detachable camera to be able to get better screenshots and stuff like that. There's no denying that there is a big place for nice like graphic captures and stuff like that all over Twitter. You see them all the time. You see these different posts, these different competitions for like I played Sea of Thieves as a main for like pretty much a year. And you see them host competitions all the time to get like an exclusive in-game item once a month where, you know, they'll take your best selfies, your best screenshots, edit them up, make them look great, post them, and then the dev team picks like sort of their top pick and they get exclusive like sales in Sea of Thieves. So having something like that to reward those who love taking those selfies essentially with your characters. There was a game that I beta tested and became part of the content creator crew called Sword of Legends Online. And they have like a full selfie room. Like you can change the background, you can change the lighting, you can change the camera angles, like you can do everything. And I thought that was really cool. Like I'm not a huge guy on like selfies. Like I like taking my character shots for like, let's say like a Twitter going live or something like that, but I've never entered into any of these like competitions. But I see what some people do with these and it's beautiful. Like there's no denying it, right? So and seeing like having played alpha, having seen, you know, sort of every video that they've released and seeing the graphic quality and the potential there, like I and you see it all over this Reddit post where people are asking for that ability to either have a detachable camera where they can sort of zoom out further to get that perfect angle and shot. I think they can see some really cool features about that. Yeah. Which is, you know, it's pretty obscure. Obviously, it's like your typical sort of response, like, hey, I want to see like this really cool combat system or everything like that. But it's something that is a big thing right now. Like you see it, like I say, I see it all over Twitter, Instagram. You see like all these different photos that people are doing of like their gaming content. And some of the work and some of the photos that people get, I'm like, how? Like I'm playing in, you know, 4K to 8K. Like now I've got the 3090 and stuff like that. And I'm playing at like the highest graphics and I'm trying to make my screenshots look half as good as these guys. And I can't do it. But it's amazing to see what people are doing. And so, yeah, I remember reading through this Reddit post and seeing everybody talking about that. And it didn't surprise me at all because it's something I've been seeing sort of everywhere. Somebody here, Jay Hatter, mentions the ability to capture a 4K or 8K screenshot keybind, where essentially it's going to like take a where was it? What's the word I'm looking for here? Like renders an actual frame of the game in that full quality detail, as opposed to just doing like a print screen or something like that. To get you that like high res photo that you wouldn't be able to get any other way. So that was really cool. So yeah, I mean, that's one thing. I mean, there's so many things I would love to see come to the game from different ones that I've played. But to name one off the top of my head and sort of like reading through that forum as well that I agreed with would be pretty cool. Because even like looking at the video you got playing right now, this is, you know, in the sieges. It's gorgeous. Like and this is alpha. Like, if it looks this good in alpha, like I can't wait to see what it's going to look like at the end of it all.
That's how I felt back in the Kickstarter. I was like, whoa, this isn't even like a game yet. This is like not even playable. What?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, I think the ability, like you were saying, to be able to capture you know, a full res screen would be fantastic. Because I know there's been so many games I've played where you do the photo mode or the screen cap, like print screen or whatever, and it just that's not full 1080. That's not nearly as beautiful looking as it was on my screen. Yeah, and I just took that like seconds ago.
Yeah, it's that moment of disappointment when you finish like your session or whatever, and you go back and you look through your screenshots. It's like, oh, well, that's not how I remember seeing it. You know, like the colors are all sort of dulled and like, yeah. So having that ability and the person I mentioned, where was it here? Jay Hatter says Black Desert Online and Elite Dangerous are two games that have that ability, that they have a keybind where it literally renders a frame of the game into 4K and 8K quality. So it's doable. The technology is already there. So we just, you know, Intrepid's just got to hit that button. Yep. Gotta
Yeah.
use that feature.
First off, hi, Wood
Hey,
Chip.
Wood-
Welcome in.
Yeah, lurk away, lurk away.
Look away. Alpha 2 News was the winning vote, by the way, for the poll.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Topnosh says, when you play Ashes, what type of profession will you lean to focus on? Gather, processing, or crafting? Topnosh says, I lean towards process. I will probably lean towards crafting. It really depends on where alchemy falls in all of that. So I like to make potions because I usually heal. So
I'll say for me, it's going to depend on how they do the crafting. So one thing I will say I did like about New World crafting is the fact that when you went to make something in bulk, it was instantly completed. Whereas I remember back in like World of Warcraft, it's like the bar just goes like 50, 60, however many times, right, to craft it. And you have to wait for it, right? So if they have something in place where it's going to be like an instant craft if you're doing bulk orders, then I'll probably lean towards crafting. Otherwise, I get really bored doing crafting, so I'll probably just stick to gathering and give it to somebody else to craft stuff for me. That's generally what I tend to do.
I think I'd probably end up leaning towards either gathering or crafting. And that's really not really the processing so much. It doesn't sound amazing to me, but we'll see how the final systems play out. Maybe it'll be more interesting. But I know crafting is interesting to me because you actually get a finished product at the end.
Yeah.
And gathering to me is going to be interesting, especially if my rare or unique feature goes into the game as hoped, and that's actual rewards and maybe even leaderboards for things like exploration. Like who's the first person to explore this area and unlock this part of the map and whatever, or who's the first person to, or who's explored more of the map, or what was the quickest somebody has explored the map. Like, who knows? Anything as far as that goes, but like finding hidden things around that aren't necessarily available to everyone to find unless you're really looking for them.
Now, I don't know if I'm mixing this up from Ashes or from somewhere else, but was it not Ashes that said they were going to have a feature similar to that where they were going to have essentially trophies in like the town hall to acknowledge players who contributed certain things to the development of that city?
Yeah, I believe there's going to be something like that. I do know that when you have I think it was a scientific node, they're going to have a library. And in that library, it's going to record things that were discovered in the area.
Got it. Okay. I remember reading that
there's
for
definitely going to be
one
that.
of the videos I made. I just couldn't remember exactly what it's called. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. And I like your idea with that as well, to give people recognition for something that takes a long time to do, but normally isn't tracked as heavily as some of the other achievements, right? So
yeah,
that's a really good idea.
Overlooked a lot unless you need to find something. Then you look to the explorer people, like, okay, where'd you find this thing? Where'd you go for it? And you get your instant gratification answer, and then you never need that information again. But
true.
If things could somehow be tracked and noted and followed for actual exploration achievements, like have a little creature or a little something that's really hard to see hidden around the world that doesn't have a name tag popping up over top of it. Yeah. And you got to find those little things all over the place, that type of thing. But yeah, that's the kind of unique and obscure feature I would like, because then if something like that went in where it was worthwhile to do all the full exploring stuff like I like to do in my downtime, absolutely, I'll do gathering, because I'll just pick my little flowers all along the way. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's something to say, like, it's really nice to have those kind of things that you can do when you're not really wanting to mentally focus on the game at the moment, but like just do something. And gathering is one of those things where you can like watch something else while being productive in a very chill manner, or like just chatting, like when you're streaming and doing just chatting, but like also doing something in the game that's not like super intense and focus worthy, unless like somebody decides to in World of Warcraft, or not World of Warcraft, but some places in World of Warcraft, but Ashes, especially because it's open world, come up and gank you in the middle of it. Then it gets intense. But that I only had that experience really in World of Warcraft in certain areas. But I think slowly getting back into games where I actually have a guild that I play with and stuff like that will probably change my view a little bit on PvP. It's already changed it slightly. I find PvP more fun when I have a group of people to play with that are like on my same side. But I think it was mainly like I was the small child that was playing like World of Warcraft in like the Outlands where people were like ganking like crazy. Like just hated it because I was like, I'm just trying to level.
I remember it. I remember it very well.
So because of that, I ended up having a huge dislike for PvP. But the thing that I hope that they bring into Ashes for me is even like the crafting leaderboards, people that are like top crafters, because those are nice people to see like, okay, I need this thing. Who is most likely going to have the recipe that I need done? Like the master crafters and stuff like that. And you're able to like sort by rank of people and see like, okay, well, I know that this is a professional level crafting skill, or I guess scroll that you could learn. So I would have to find somebody who's a professional level crafter of some sort and have them do whatever crafting I need. And I feel like those are really important because especially if it was anything like original World of Warcraft before, it got to Mist of Pandaria and those things. I remember looking for people to enchant my weapons and my gear.
Yep, absolutely.
And I really liked that. It gave a sense of community because you had to go out and find somebody to do that and you traded for it. And I really liked that. So I hope that is like what Ashes is able to bring back to the table a little bit.
Yeah, more of that traditional MMO feel rather than just making it easy for everybody.
To do everything.
It got to a point where just like you could either just buy anything off the auction house because you were able to then imbue like the enchants onto the inscription like scrolls and everything. And you never needed to like reach out to anybody anymore. And like you said, it takes away that sense of community and meeting new people and stuff like that, right? Which brought some of the like, I ended up meeting people that later on I ended up raiding with like full time and stuff like that, just from a simple crafting like exchange or something like that, right? So it's having that dynamic, having that community feel to it would be nice. And I know that's something that Steven's mentioned multiple times, coming from a background of like gaming and everything like that, that he wants to bring back. So I can't wait to see how it all finishes out and fleshes out at the end.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Thank you. And I guess catching up with chat a little bit here. Z says crafting is going to be hard. Sounds hard.
I'm more curious about the alpaca fur wrap.
yeah, it's because Woodchip was saying we can't see him, he's in stealth mode. Wizzy said, hate to break it to you, you're not very stealthy. I only broke a mirror, tripped over a rug, and slammed one door getting here. So she's hoping he's wrapped in bubble wrap, and thus the new alpaca fur wrap. It's keeping him safe and cozy.
It sounds like you rolled a nat 1 on your stealth check. Sorry about that, friend.
Womp womp womp. I guess that's why he's wood chip and not log, right? Tripped and fell in the shredder.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so everybody knows endgame is fashion. What do you think about a quest to unlock the transmog at mid or max level?
So I read into this and man, did they stir the hornet's nest with this one.
Oh yeah. Lizzie, thank you. 9 months. Oh my gosh.
It was glorious reading through the comments on this one. But yeah, so obviously
Reddit is like a minefield.
Oh, it is. You just say one thing just slightly out of place or out of the popular sort of opinion, and all hell breaks loose. But I mean, it's so I understand in one aspect. I sort of understand both sides to this, right? In one aspect, he's saying, like you're coming up, you're sort of like that rags to riches story type of thing, but with these the cosmetics that you're able to buy and have them available at level 1, so you're decked out in like full shiny like plate armor and stuff like that. It can take some of that immersion away. And then I saw the counter to that. I forget who had posted it. It's like the first one. Twisted Wasted says, what if they have the armor because of inheritance status or something like that? Like now, being a role player myself, who's role playing characters and stuff like that, you just got to build up that story, right? You got to build up, your version of why this armor's come to you and roll with it, right? And it'll still give you that immersion if that's what you're looking for, and still allow you to reap the benefits of what you've invested into this. Because that's how I look at it. I don't look at it as, hey, I bought these cosmetics or anything like that. I'm investing into the progress of Ashes of Creation by buying the Pathfinder's pack and buying these cosmetics and stuff like that, because it's a project that I believe in and I want to see come to fruition, right? So that's sort of my mindset moving into it. The cosmetics are a bonus, and you can sort of come up with that backstory, like Twisted Wasted said here, where you inherit it, or it's been passed down through your family, or you stumbled across it somehow. Like there's so many ways you can play that and have fun with it, right? So I get what he's saying, to have your first character go through and earn the ability to transmog. But I also understand why it caused such an issue for so many, so many people. So I
have a lore-based reason on why I'm going to have a very unpopular opinion, I'm sure. And that is that I think everybody who comes through from the gate, like right out of the bat, day 1, should be able to walk in with any and all of their cosmetics they've unlocked. But as time goes on, they should have to wait longer and longer, and then you could get to a halfway to max level to unlock your transmog. And the reason why is because the first people through a gate from their comfy homeworld to an unknown wildland filled with magic that nobody's been exposed to before are probably going to be the more outfitted people, right?
Right.
And then as time goes on, the world's more explored, it's more tamed, quote unquote. It's more established, and then the not so adventurous can start wandering through, and they're not going to be as armed to the teeth for any kind of anything that could come around the corner, be it magic or mundane. So lore-based reason why it should start where right off the gate, which would also include the people who spent probably a bunch of money, with the head start and all that to get the extra packs. They're going to have all kinds of cosmetics to choose from. But then as time goes on, you got to wait longer to get them.
I like
Interesting.
that.
Interesting. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So my take on it is actually I want to point over to the chat for a second. Veil Mist Warden says that would be fun. Unlock at level 25 with the job support. So when you get your secondary, I forgot what it was called.
That can actually make a lot of sense
Archetype.
too.
Yeah, my mind was like archive, and I was like, no. But yeah, so I think that would be pretty cool. But like, I'm gonna go in the middle. Like, you get to choose initially your starting, but then you can't change your costume, your transmog, until you unlock that. But you can choose to start with whatever, because between what Iron Smithy was saying, and actually I saw something similar on the forums too, is when you play D&D, you have your background, you can wear whatever you want, but you can't have like your super high level stuff that looks whatever until you get the money to get it in the game. Unless you have a stupid super rich family that pays for that for you. But usually the DMs, we like to, put a distance so you're not wearing that super overpowered plate mail at level 2.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it would be kind of cool to have a little bit of both, where you can choose a cosmetic or something if you have it already, whether you got it from the alpha or APOC stuff or the before streaming games and everything cash shop stuff. And by the way, side tangent, did you know, because I learned this from Jalon, did you know that the stuff that you got from APOC is not full body, but the stuff that you get from the cash shop is?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I learned that from Jalon. I was looking through some of this stuff, and yeah, somebody was saying that, I wish I could just, do whatever. And Jalon was saying that the stuff that you get from the cash shop is full body.
That's really cool.
So, yeah.
Dig it.
I will find that and I will link it to you guys. It's just there's so much on Reddit that I'd have to go through to find it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Woodchip, actually, it's if anything, it's the exact opposite. The early supporters would have access to all their cosmetics right off the bat, and as time went on, and people, down the line, like 6 months down the line, it would start to edge back. But it wasn't necessarily like that's how I think it should go. I just thought it would be interesting if it did that.
Mm-hmm. It's
just because there would be a lore basis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I like transmog. I like changing up my look and everything. I think it's really fun.
Same here.
So yeah. If it's okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about, I do have it there after, like, we don't necessarily have to go in order, but the one that I have after there's the thing that we shared last week with the music, except he posted on Reddit the lore that went with the music. So I thought that was really, really cool. So if you guys want to go check that out, that's mainly why I put that there. But I thought, because this is the last podcast for the year, I stumbled across a post from u/auto moderator from the Reddit. Woodchip.
It's required, Woodchip. It's absolutely required.
From 2 weeks ago, it said, "Happy Cake Day, r/Ashes of Creation. Today, year 5. Let's look at some of the memorable moments and interesting insights from last year." And they have the top 5 posts. And one of them is a simple thank you from some of us in Blizzard. I believe that is from when Blizzard had their huge layoff. And then Intrepid was saying, "Hey, I'm sorry. If you needed work, we've got positions." And I believe they even hired like a food truck for...
Yeah, they sent a food truck over there.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I love that.
All the food is free.
Sweet. Yeah. And then Steven posting about his commentary for New World and his displeasure in the way that New World was doing things.
I'm not gonna lie, that was probably my favorite post of this year. I loved it.
But yeah, so the simple thank you from people from Blizzard was actually the food truck. So it says, "Intrepid Studios and Ashes Creation community support you. Enjoy lunch and stay strong," on the side. So yeah, it was really cute. But yeah, no, we had that whole conversation of like, Steven is allowed to dissociate from Intrepid, I think, in my opinion, because he's still a person. You can be a person without being the brand.
Yep.
And I feel like people kind of forget that these days. And then the third one is our favorite comic artist, Zenchio, making a comic about Stephen promising. Says, "My commentary on New World was unprofessional," typing. "I apologize, it won't happen again," posting. "On my main account." And then there's a picture of not Steven _AOC. And then, "You're next, bless Unleashed."
Oh, geez, that's a whole other can of worms we could dive into.
And then Steven trolling Asmon in Alpha, Ashes Alpha, about, I think, being bald. It was like the invitation to the Bald Guild.
Like Asmongold Bald or something.
Yeah, yeah. And then finally was is it?
Bald
Let me
Guild,
make sure. Yeah. And then finally it was the image leaked by Steven when he accidentally summoned like 1,000,001 bears. And it like I guess to test like server stability, and the server didn't crash, but he summoned like I think 5,000 bears around players.
Crazy.
Out of nowhere. So yeah. Those were from Reddit, the highlights of 2021 for Ashes of Creation.
Look at that mini map. Look at the mini map too. It's just red marks.
It's so funny.
Just a giant sea of red.
Oh my god.
Yep. And I don't know if it got posted, so I will post the for those of you that want to go back through. Yeah, he did apologize for that, Z. You're correct, but I still don't think he needed to, in my opinion.
Same here. I agree.
So.
But
also,
I guess when he's like the CEO and stuff like that, and like
gotta make nice.
Yeah.
When you're trying to hire people and get people interested in playing the game, I guess you should be a nice guy.
Gotta put on that public face and stuff, I guess.
Yeah. It's tough being an owner of a business, you know?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Because I think like they don't really, he's like PR and then owner of the business all at once, I think.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Maggie, the whole joke of Maggie yelling at Steven for things.
It was one of those where like she read the post and it was just like oh no. Just like head and palm, like, oh, okay. Damage control, here we go. Yeah.
I think there was probably just a single text that just said, "We need to talk. But first give me 15 minutes."
Which is never good. Anytime you get that text, it's like, we need to talk. It's like, oh man, I messed up.
The very next text was, "But give me 15 minutes first."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So funny.
Oh, I love it.
So, other fun topics about questlines and dynamic worlds. And other inquiries. There's a couple posts I think about the same kind of topic with quest lines and how you'd want them to be unique and flexible and not just hey, go get this, go kill this and bring this to me and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I haven't played. I mean, I've just started playing a little bit of Guild Wars 2 here very recently because they gave away the base game for free. So why say no to free? And I haven't really bumped into it yet, but have you played much of Guild Wars 3? Because they mentioned specifically... Guild Wars 2. Geez, why am I saying 3? Where did that even come from?
He's living in the future. It's okay.
Yeah,
I am.
So I played... I did play Guild Wars 2 for a while. I played through up to, I want to say the first, maybe up to the second expansion. And I loved it. Like it was another one that it gave that interesting dynamic to questing, right? Where those of us who like the PvP, like I do like my PvP as well, but I don't want to need to either rely on PvP. I don't want to rely on have to rely on other things if I want to level one specific way, right? So if I want to level with questing, I want to be able to level 1 to max level with quests, you know what I mean? Or something like that. But it can't be the same quests over and over again. Go pick 50 berries, go kill 20 of these, go fetch me this and bring it back. And I think the worst thing that frustrates me the most when you're questing is when you're in an area, you pick up your quests, you sort of go out and you do them. And then it's like, okay, well, now here's the next batch. Like there's a dynamic to that where, hey, we need to get this to get to that. That's fine. But like there's one game, I think it was Elion where I was playing, where you're talking to like this person and there's like 3 NPCs, let's say, standing like in a semicircle type of thing. So you do this whole dialogue with the one guy, and then it's your next quest is literally to talk to the guy that's standing beside you. Like you don't need to even move to like talk to him. And I'm like, okay, well, why can't you just wrap them all into the one scene so we don't have to like break, move, reinteract
one
when they're
conversation
standing right there? You know, just do it in one conversation, right? Keep that immersion, if that's what you're gonna do. So, but the days of the like go grab this, the fetch and retrieve quest, the kill quest, having something more dynamic, keeps you engaged more, in my opinion, anyways. And other people might feel differently. But I like the quests like Guild Wars 2, where like decisions that you make affect the world, you know, like affect how your questing is going to progress, you know. Guild Wars 2 does a really good job where, you know, certain decisions that you make could either turn somebody, this NPC, into an enemy for you later, or you're going to sort of revisit this person later on in the in your journey, in your questing as your character progresses and stuff like that. And having something like that where you have this adaptive these adaptive AIs where they sort of react to what you're doing adds that whole extra level to questing and makes it more fun and interactive and immersive to like stay through with the lore. Because in World of Warcraft, to be very honest, 99% of the quests I just like hit accept and run away. Like I don't read the text, I don't get involved in the story because I don't want to read that long. Like, but when my actions now have consequences, well, that's a whole other story. Now I'm interested, I'm more invested into the story. Swoter we talked about it before. Swoter did very, very good job of the storytelling and having these multiple paths that you can take while still allowing you to level and have that full MMORPG feel. But tying in like a heavy story to it as well. And Guild Wars did it not quite as heavy on like the storytelling, but still with that dynamic AI where like decisions you made would affect certain quests later on. And I would love to see something similar to that come into Ashes of Creation, because there is a lot of lore to this world, and to see some nice storytelling go along with the questing would be beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I've only kind of begun a little bit of Guild Wars 2, so I've only seen a little bit of what this person on Reddit was talking about, because they said that they recently played Red Dead Online and they were impressed with the quest line and stranger quests that just popped up. And Guild Wars 2 just has a lot to do on a specific map, and I think they're talking about like the reputation stuff where you get the little hearts on the map and you got to go and it says, you know, whoever's tavern, and you have to go serve guests and stuff like that. And it's just you bump into it and do a thing. And I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how incredibly dynamic they'd be able to make everything though. By the way, also, Cheladonis, this is all pre-recorded. It's from April 30th of this year, actually. April 30th, 2021. It was the first real preview of Raid Boss. I'm assuming this is somebody that came along to visit with you. Savior.
She's my community manager, an amazing content creator herself.
Aw,
awesome.
welcome in.
Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. It's nice you're showing support for you from there and for us, honestly, just by popping in. So.
Yep, I agree. Well, thank you.
Oh,
welcome.
There's another one.
Welcome to the tavern.
Add another one to the tally.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate
Very much
that.
appreciate
Thank
it. But the problem is I don't know how incredibly dynamic they'll be able to be with everything, because the rest of the world is so dynamic. Because it's going to be kind of like, imagine if you're playing D&D and you have to roll above a 10 to get the chance to roll above a 5 to get the chance to roll above a 1 for something to happen.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's the thing, right? Because the world itself is going to be so dynamic with like the nodes and how everything's going to be evolving as we progress and stuff like that. I mean, to add dynamic AIs and everything like that as well, as much as I'd love to see it, I don't know how realistic it's going to be, but at least something different to the questing, where it's not just the same fetch and retrieve quests and go out and kill 20 of these and then go back and or skin 20 of these or whatever else, right? Try to switch it up, give some fun and unique leveling, and sort of stick with the ambitious goal that they've already went for, right?
You know what? We're building a new town. I want to have to paint a house. Give me a paintbrush and make me paint a house.
Hell yeah.
If I miss a spot, dock my pay.
Like we're gonna be owning our own houses, right? I'd love to see the ability to do things like that, right? Where you're out there, you're maintaining your house, and go for that sort of like full immersion. Now, I know we're
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, I know we're like pushing it here. It's like I want everything. I want to be able to have this and that, and I want it all. You're already ambitious. We want to make it more ambitious, but no. Right. Sorry, go ahead, Jimmy.
What do you guys think of player-made quests? Like, hey, I'm looking for some potions. If somebody can craft me X amount of potions, I'll pay this amount of money, and then they could post it up on like a job board, and then people could do it. That would be really cool. That'd be a way of having dynamic and within in-game like things, and it mirrors real world. Like, hey, I need this video edited. Who can edit my video for me? I'm willing to pay this much money. Like,
yeah, exactly. Creating like work orders and stuff like that for other players as well. Yeah, I think that would be amazing.
That would actually be really cool, especially if, let's say, if you went to post up something like that. If you were to pay less than, say, an NPC store would give somebody to purchase that item, but the exchange for the person wanting to give it to you for less money is that they would get experience out of it. Mm-hmm. So they could choose to do a quest off the little player-made quest board that's going to pay them less than if they just sold an item or whatever items to the NPC. But
also offer XP.
Yeah. But get that XP to help with leveling and stuff like that. Hell yeah. That would be I think that'd be really cool.
That'd be super dynamic too.
Yep.
As far as the AI, I think it's doable. We are actually, I wouldn't call us backers because we didn't go on their Kickstarter, but there is a game that is similar to D&D. I don't know why I keep trying to say World of Warcraft. Apparently that's on the brain. But it's called Emberwind. And the idea is that you, instead of trying to roll the highest amount, you're trying to roll the lowest amount. But it's set up where you can literally play it solo. It can be DM-less. And all the enemies are AI, and in the fact that you roll like a D6 or a D8, and it tells you what the outcome is, like what choice they make. So given that, I think it's very plausible to make AI that has a limited number of branches that they can choose from, but a random number generator. Ooh, pardon me. A random number generator that chooses that outcome based on a preset amount of, I guess, behaviors.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's doable.
Even in like the Alpha 1, right? When we were going through the questing and stuff like that, like we had choices on our answers, right? So all you would have to do is tie that to, an AI or an algorithm that if you choose X, this outcome happens. If you choose Y, this outcome happens. You know what I mean? And then have that character come back sort of later in your questing and interact with you based on the decisions you made with them earlier. Like I said, that extra dynamic when you're running into characters, it gets you a little bit more invested into them. One thing World of Warcraft did pretty well is some of the characters from vanilla stayed with you all the way through. So you got invested into like Sylvanas and Brawl and their different stories and stuff like that, right? So having that ability to have these characters come back and interact with you and also change their interaction with you based on your previous interactions with them would really like shake things up, I think.
I wanted Sylvanas for War Chief until it happened, and then I didn't want it anymore.
Right?
I was like, never mind, I quit. I don't want this.
That's fantastic. But yeah, that would be pretty neat if you could include something like a dragon egg or dragon head in a war declaration and make it be something that's fought over.
Yeah, I see you're reading the chat.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And the Goblin Zeppelin, I don't recall that specifically. I do remember quests where you'd be flying around on like a griffin and be able to bomb enemies. But I don't remember the Goblin Zeppelin. For some reason, it's escaping me. But
Goblins.
yeah, as far as what's that?
Oh, I was reading the chat. Yeah, I vaguely remember the Goblin Zeppelin. But I'm not, it's not fully, I'm not remembering the whole scenario around it, but I do remember,
Not the whole thing.
I do remember what he's talking about, vaguely.
Yeah, I think it would be neat as far as having a dynamic NPC with quests and whatnot. I think it would be really cool if there was a branching storyline for a few NPCs specifically in the world. Like everybody would bump into them, everybody would have the chance to get the quest. It's not like there'd be a random passerby that might give you a quest. So much as there's always going to be that character somewhere, and you're always going to bump into them multiple times, but they're going to have a branching storyline that can go multiple different ways, and at the end of it all, your character could get, say, a specific cosmetic depending on how the story pans out.
Right.
Give a good variety of maybe different colored mounts, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. Real quick, Iron Smithy, how are we doing on time? Are we able to go a little over? Are we tight on time for you?
No, I can go a little bit over.
Okay, cool. Sometimes we just get so into like talking that like we don't cover quite everything, and which is great. I just want to make sure like we respect your time too. So wanted to do that quick check-in. And our chat loves it when we go late. They actually hate it when we end on time. So they get mad at us.
They protest every time.
Back when I had work at exactly an hour after our podcast, they would get mad at me for like watching the time.
I love it. I love seeing the chat that invested. And I can see why.
Cash Kush, welcome in. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
12 months? Goodness.
It's our anniversary. Ooh.
Oh, happy
Where
anniversary.
are we going for dinner?
Golden Feather Tavern, duh.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. We always go here for dinner. It's not... no, it's still special. It's awesome.
We'll just, you know, pull out the fancy candles and the fancy feast. Was it Heroes Feast? There you go. McDonald's.
Yeah. Going to McDougal's.
So, quick iteration, because I want to make sure that our chat feels included in this, but is it Cheladonis or Cheladonis? I'm sorry. Please let me know. They wanted to chime in on the topic that I brought up about the player-made quest. And they say player-made quests could lead to abuse if not policed. Then players may constantly make quests for each other for quicker boosting or rewards, unless it's money only, which then could lead to some currency moving. Having decisions that change the rewards or outcomes would open the door to very interesting scenarios where players could work to find the most optimal patches and choices for every class to optimize the outcome. So trying to create a more randomized reward for your different choices would help to counter that, keeping it more lore-based than reward-based. And I think those are really good points, and I wanted to make sure that they got brought up. So
yeah, I was actually just about to bring that up when we had a lull here for that, since he was talking about you know, what I was mentioning and stuff like that. I agree. You know, to me, it's not about the reward, because let's be real, as we're questing, any rewards we get are going to get replaced, you know, 10-20 minutes later anyways in the next line of quests or that next sort of level range of stuff that we're getting. So the rewards I really don't care about, but for me, it's exactly as you said, having that lore, that immersion sort of into the quest line, something to keep me going instead of just mindlessly going, okay, I'm killing 50 pigs, I'm grabbing their teeth, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like mindless questing, I guess, as opposed to like being invested into the story. And something that has a good storyline is going to keep me invested much longer throughout the like questing process, because I'm there to develop the story more so than I care about my level at the time or something like that, right? So so I agree with that, like having it as a lore-based reward and not being able to like sort of min-max it type of thing, being able to play it the way you want to play it because that's what your character is, or that's how your character would respond, as opposed to, well, if I pick this, I'm going to get the best piece of gear. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
And
So,
something
I
was in my
actually-
mind, and it just escaped.
Oh, no.
Literally, the moment you stopped speaking, it just poofed right out of my head.
Well, if you want to try to think about it, I found the part that I was talking about with Paradox or Jalon talking about the cosmetics.
Okay.
So Sonic Fan, I actually just linked the article or the Reddit post where it was mentioned, but the original one is to people saying that cosmetics will not affect the way, like how we look at the very first day. They're saying yes, they will. People will look like end game characters as soon as they put on their costumes. Costumes do not have level requirements. I will remind that all. I'm not sure this person has the. I don't know. I will remind that all full body armors are presented every month are costumes, so people will be able to look like any of these costumes on day one. I see there have been some confusion about this, so I hope this clears things up. This is by Thunderbluff Guff. And then Sonic said, I earned my obsidian armor and mask of the autumn night in the dark trenches of APOC. And then Blender said, oh, I forgot about that. We will probably not be able to wear them on day one as they are not considered costumes, so they will most likely have level requirements. But if we can, I think it'd be very befitting that we were able to wear them as they were earned through tears and empty servers. Paradox says they are considered costumes. And then Blender ended up saying they do not have the characteristics of costumes. They're not full body suits, so you can't mix and match costumes. And Paradox responds with, you cannot mix and match full body costumes. However, full body ones go on the paper doll as well as individual pieces. And that's kind of where it was left off a little bit. The APOC cosmetics are the only non-full body costumes in the game. It just seems like this is their opinion. It just seems weird. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
Wood chip. So a little bit of a misremembering of my part, but yeah, the fact that
Santa
it was.
toolbar. Sorry.
I'm interested in seeing what that is. Honestly, if you want, we can go on into the unless Vertec remembered what he was gonna say.
I did. I was
Okay,
gonna
what were you
say
gonna
because
say?
it was on the topic of questing and whatnot as we were wrapping that
Okay.
up, and it was that I've always preferred the approach of like main story quests being big and meaty and worth a good chunk of experience, and then side quests being things like crafting materials and equipment and little miscellaneous stuff like health potions, mana potions, things like that, so that you can do as many side quests as you want if you're a completionist, but you really don't need to. You can do just the main quest and get through most of your levels with just a few supporting side quests to get gear so you'll survive the main quest when you level up. And
Yeah.
there you go. You can choose how many of them you want to do. How easy do you want to make the game? You want it to be easy? Go do all of your side quests before the main quest. Do all of them. You want more of a challenge? Just do barely enough to get by.
Right.
Exactly.
And there you go. Get your helmet and move on. Who needs a shield and sword? Just grab your helmet. Ready, go. Ready, set, go.
I don't
Yeah.
need any of that.
I'll need none of it.
I don't need none of it. I got mage shield,
Yeah.
mage armor.
Right. That's where the spellcasters benefit. I'll just kite them forever. They'll never touch me anyways.
Seriously, did you play? What class did you play during Alpha 1?
I played mage to start off with, and then when we were doing the siege testing and stuff, it was like you had to be a warrior or else you were just going to die every 2 seconds from all the axe
man.
throws. For some of the sieges, I did warrior. I think I was a warrior when I actually ended up fighting Steven.
Nice.
But yeah, like I had a lot of fun with the mage. The mage was a lot of fun. Warrior was fun as well. But I can't wait to see some of the other classes come out. Hopefully in Alpha 2, potentially we'll get to test some actual classes with the 2 archetypes
Fingers crossed.
to see how that like comes together. But yeah.
Yeah. OP cleric for the win. I agree.
The cleric was nutty until what was it? I think near the end of like Alpha 1 where they what was it? They nerfed the spear, the OP spear that everybody used because it just did so much damage. And then the cleric, you know, got a little bit nerfed, but the cleric was OP as heck for like the longest time.
Right, I agree. See you in the new year, Wizzy McNasty. Thank you for joining. And hello. I've got is it Balithal? Hello, Balithal. Welcome in.
Ball's
your
here.
name is, it's red, so it's a little hard to read
Ball.
against my like background. So I'm like, huh? But the dub discussion, since we were talking about Santa Tolnar, is about the holidays.
By the way.
Yeah, bye. So I was curious, actually, technically, Intrepid was curious on what you think about the holidays. So how do you feel about in-game holidays that line up time-wise with out-of-game holidays? Do you prefer that your game world has a matching celebration, or would you prefer to keep your real-world holidays away from the keyboard?
Ooh. So personally, I actually enjoy it.
Me too.
I do like having the holidays sort of match up with the game, especially because a lot of the games I play are those like sort of immersive, you know, either role playing or you know, MMORPGs or something like that. So having, you know, that character in that space anyways, and being able to have some kind of holiday celebration, whether it's, you know, Halloween, Christmas, or, you know, even Thanksgiving, you see, you know, like the feasts like laid out and stuff like that in some of the taverns, and you see the different decorations. I personally enjoy it. I like having that them line up and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I've been a fan
Winship
of
says sync it up for me as well.
Yeah. See, I've been a fan of them having it around the same time ish, but not really having the out of game reasoning for it, like having some kind of in-game lore
tied to it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In-game lore is kind of a must.
Yeah.
I play
I'm
this
letting
stuff
you
to
guys
escape.
cheat. I put up a poll. So holidays in game, heck yeah or no thanks. And I'm letting you cheat with your points if you want to. But yeah, no, I agree. I think there should be some semblance of the holiday. There should definitely be an in-game tie, like Animal Crossing has Turkey Day and Toy Day, for example. World of Warcraft had Father Winter, Father Christmas. And, you know, I think it's really nice because it feels festive. For like before I met, I guess this way, that guy over there, Vertec.
Which direction?
Well, see, you're this way in Zoom and you're this way on the stream, so I have to try to figure out which way to go. But before I met Vertec, I actually did a lot. Like my celebration of the holidays was in game with my online friends. That was my yay! I'm celebrating holidays. Let's get like smashed if you're old enough to, or in game smashed, and you know, run around and have fun. And that to me was celebrating holidays by myself in the middle of nowhere, because my family doesn't live near me at the time, and my family still doesn't live near me, but his family does, so yay. But yeah, I think it should have an in-game tie. It should make sense. But I mean, also, don't just do American holidays. I wanna experience other cultures. We got other cultures in Ashes. Let's see other cultural things. Let's see the wonderful Indian celebration of spring with all of the colors and like going around throwing colored powder at each other. Like take some food dye and some flour and throw it at other players in game or something. That would be really cool. And celebrating, like, if it's Thanksgiving, call it some like harvest. You must be celebrating every day though. There's so many. That's fair.
It's true. It's kind of true in there, but no, but like taking the key ones, I definitely understand where you're coming from, right? Instead of just sort of like the American holidays, if you will. But taking some different nationalities and stuff like that, some of their like big ones, and to see that come through in a game too would be really cool to see. I'd be super interested in that.
Yeah, like my take on it was bring in basically whatever the government gives people off as a holiday. Just have those, because I think in the US I think there's only like 10. So it'd be like one a month. But I mean, I guess even at that, there's how many countries in the world? Like 50. So I guess that'd be 500 holidays a year.
Math is hard. It's definitely not my strong suit.
yeah. Like 500 holidays a year to celebrate in game.
Yeah.
Cash spent 900 points to say heck yeah for the in-game.
Heck yeah.
That's
like
nine of those votes, because it's 100 points each.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, also Z has a good point. Like but key holidays to whom? Because each area has their own what they think is key. And I think maybe having a nice diversity of, like, instead of having our Easter, having somebody else's spring related holiday, and mixing it up and making sure we get a little bit from each big culture. 217, I think. Oh my gosh.
Well, Z, I think it should be key to me. I'm going to be the key decision maker in all holidays. I decide which ones are important. Okay.
Right.
And here's a spoiler for you. I'm not big on Christmas, just so you know.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a Grinch
He's
season,
really
if anything.
He's really not.
I like the gathering of the family, but that's about it. I'm not big on decorating everything.
Like Mother's Day, we celebrate in the March. You guys don't? Oh, yeah. I mean, there's also the whole time change weirdness that happens for like a week or two. Sheldon, I love that you have these large responses, but they just go by so fast. The holidays being
so thought out,
right?
Yeah,
I love
I'm really
it.
enjoying the contributions.
Yeah. The holidays being in-game plays on two factors. It helps boost sales from a strictly business perspective, as it helps mirror the fiscal year of consumerism. And the second point is helping people who play more games than IRL interactions. It helps fill the gap that they may feel with not having a lot of IRL holiday experience outside of it. Keeps them more in-game since it creates an emotional connection, which I pretty much gave an example of that, but just being myself. If you want lore-based holidays to work, you have to create a meaningful in-game holidays. The calendar would have to truly matter in-game, such as with when certain things spawn, weather, and what happens in different regions and cities within the game. It has to matter. You can't have both, though. IRL related and lore-based shouldn't mix, or you have a chaotic and hollow list of events. That is a good point. They could do like Final Fantasy 14 does. Their holidays are named Starlight Celebration, All Saints Week, etc. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Keeping it tied to the lore.
Yeah. 120 WPS hopes. Yeah, I do too. I think that's a good point. I think it'd be interesting seeing what they do. But your feedback, like literally these dev discussions, if you give your feedback there, it's literally impacting the game. So I like to kind of bring this back to the forefront, because I realize not everybody has the luxury of being able to like buy a package or whatever, but you can still, without paying anything, contribute to the game development by replying to these dev discussions, replying to these questions that they put out there on the forums and on Reddit and everything, and getting your voice added to the list of things, because I'm pretty sure they do it on purpose to grab your thoughts and then bring it in for the devs to kind of talk about and then see which direction. This is actually a great example. I believe it was multi-box thing or something. There was something that was like big and the community spoke out on it, and Steven was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll go that direction then instead. And so if you ever wanted to feel like your voice matters and you can't afford to like grab one of these packages, please make your voice heard on these dev discussions. Go check them out.
Yeah, if I can chime in there too, I think that's one of the things we talked about, you know, like what got me into Ashes, and like one of the things that retains me still to this day, even though yes, the project is later than they initially anticipated, everything like that, is the fact that they're listening and they're making the changes like so quickly, like almost month to month. And you know, when Alpha 1 was going on, like feedback that we were providing, feedback that I saw being provided in the dev discussions and stuff like that, by the next iteration, by like the next patch, some of those things that I had read about were already fixed and they were already adjusting and changing and stuff like that. So the devs for this project are listening, and it's kind of rare to see. Like I've beta tested, I've alpha tested many games since I started gaming. You know, I've alpha and beta tested some of the World of Warcraft expansions, including vanilla. I've done projects with a bunch of other MMOs and different games. And I don't know if I've ever seen a dev team that was so on top of like the community interactions, listening to the community and adjusting based on what the community wants. And you know, yes, the game might be a little bit later than what they initially anticipated, but for them to be making these changes and making sure it's the best possible game before they do release it, instead of rushing something that's sort of half done, for lack of a better word, just to get it out there for you know, the consumer essentially to be able to get in, and then they're going to complain about it because it's not done properly. Like the fact that they're taking their time, listening to the community, making the adjustments to put out a fully fleshed out game that the community is going to be proud of, I think is perfect.
Just saying,
like
cookies and brownies are the only things that are good half baked.
I'm seeing a lot of New World comments over there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
Balafel is saying I would rather have a more polished game than one that was rushed out for a deadline. It's going to pay off in the long run. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
And I used to I know I've said it on my on the channel here before, but I used to do nothing but alpha and beta testing. That's the only way I would play a game, because I was broke, making like no money, but I had a half decent computer, and said, hey, I want to play some games online with people. So I would go and find the free games, which were just alphas and betas, and as soon as they went pay to play, all right, I'm out of here. And
nice. I love it.
Along most of that time, you didn't hear, hey, give us feedback on this and that. How's this feel? What's this like? Oh, you didn't like that? Oh, nobody liked that? Okay, no, it's not that nobody liked it. So most people didn't like it. All right, well, we'll look at it. We'll probably change it. We'll see what happens. Never once did I bump into a developer that did that all the time. It was mainly, hey, this is how this is supposed to work. Did it break? No? Okay, no, you just stop talking. Stop talking. It didn't break. That's all we want to know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That was actually, somebody was like, why don't they just leave Alpha 1 up like constantly? And they're like, because not like Intrepid, but somebody else responded was saying like, because then like the way that it's perceived would get altered, because it's no longer going to be perceived as just an alpha. It's going to be, why isn't this working? Why isn't that working? And all of these things. And it's the point of an alpha to not have everything working, because you're trying to get to a stable spot and make those things work. And I think that's been my favorite response from the community in general, is when somebody says, why isn't this game out yet? When is this game going to come out? Why didn't it come out already? And everybody rushing to say like, I'd rather take its time and delay and be a good finished game. We don't like, I think we're in an era of half-baked games where it's Steven dropping 5K, bears without the server exploding. Yeah, exactly. I think we're tired of these half-baked games. We want a finished game. We want there to be all of that thoughtfulness put into it, instead of let's hurry up and make money. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's become more about the money to a lot of these dev companies than it has been about giving the community that fully fleshed out game that we can all dive into, right? And it's they try to jump onto the niche, come out with something that's got some flashy things that'll get people into it for a bit, and then fall short when it comes to end game or longevity or something like that. So and seeing Intrepid take their time with it, listen to the community, and develop it, I'd rather that than them falling into the same trap as like all these other or a lot of these other dev companies.
Yeah.
Yep. Indeed.
Indeedy.
All right. Well, I do believe. Did you have something else you wanted to bring up for sure?
I was just gonna say, in case you guys missed the memo, Intrepid moved their live stream to next week on the 23rd. Yeah, there was a whole thing. If you haven't been on their official Discord, Steven put out a announcement for it. So that's why we're not covering anything about that, because last minute moved to next week. I was a little sad about that. I was like, no, I was looking forward to covering it. But, you know, it is what it is. I'd rather have exciting news than another one of those. Not really much was said new.
Yeah. Well, that's it, right? So now, like, look at us, right? We were already brainstorming about it earlier. Like, what could it be? You know, like, what's this big news they got for us, right? Like, we're all itching for to hear what they got next. So I'm excited to see what they got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and honestly, I think it'd be nicer to have a stream, like a development update stream, where they have some meat and potatoes, and we know there's meat and potatoes coming, instead of, hey, yeah, maybe next week we should have this thing kind of finalized, and we'll be able to talk about it next month.
Yeah.
Come on, you couldn't have waited a week?
Yeah, the tease, right, instead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Precisely.
I can't really say anything about Sorcerer. Sorry, I haven't really played it. My computer doesn't like it, apparently.
Poor computer. Yeah, we got to figure out what's going on with that, because it would be a fun one to get you to play around with once in a while.
Yeah. Gotta finish out my quest of being dark and light at the same time.
Be a gray.
Yeah.
But so for those interested, check it out. There's the Christmas tree at their office.
Ooh. Are you putting it up or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I put it up on the video.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's so pretty. Somebody said there needed to be a phoenix on top.
Right? I agree.
There should be.
I agree.
Somebody there should be making it right now. I think. Isn't that tradition sometimes, though, is they don't put it up until, like, Christmas Eve or something? And that's, like, the big thing. Like, put the top around the tree.
Possibly.
Oh, see, I didn't know that tradition.
Yeah, it was something along those lines. Like, you don't put it on right away. You wait till a certain time or something. Maybe it's within the 12 days of Christmas or something like that.
Okay.
Leverage. Yeah. I thought I remembered.
Monsieur Leverage. But then there's also, as far as artsy stuff goes, there was we're gonna chop that tree up a little bit so we can clip there. Little Fan Friday from Abraham David. Look at that.
I loved this. This was so pretty.
For those who may have missed it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's some really talented artsy people that play, and just they come up with some amazing stuff that I could never dream to get close.
Some of the concept art I've seen over the last few years now, it's insane. The artistic eye that so many people have, and love seeing these.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. And I found a few more on the forums, but they were more somebody commissioning somebody for their OC character, what they would like for their character in Ashes. Nice. Which I think is really cool. But I really love seeing like what people make for themselves as well. So yeah, and then of course I had to choose something really, really old from Z because it needs to be shown again because it's really awesome cosplay piece.
That's so cool.
I love cosplay, so
Yeah.
Let me pull this puppy out here.
That's awesome.
Celadonna says another thing about SWTOR is that it doesn't not respect the balance of casual and lore-based players that a company needs to keep in order to maintain positive growth. SWTOR could possibly be subscription to this day if they had. Having all NPCs voiced is fantastic. However, it builds a large barrier of entry for those looking just to grind and to end game and enjoy all the non-lore content. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
No, we're not going to leak those pictures. They'll stay on Tumblr. There we go. I was trying to think of what that defunct one was.
Oh my god.
The one that's long gone and
I
burned
remembered
down.
this and I loved it, and I look like I have no underwear on it.
Is that why there's a big skull there?
Z does these really amazing
I look like I have no underwear on.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to not die of chat right now. Oh my gosh. Now you have my interest. Oh my gosh. Epic cosplay, great job, right? I felt like it really needed to be shown off again. This is back in 2019, and if we're looking back on the last year and in the past, I wanted to go and show like some pretty awesome cosplay. So sorry,
Yeah,
Z,
amazing.
you're the target of my attention, I guess, for looking back.
You've been singled out. Enjoy it or
Been
not.
singled out. Bum, bum, bum. I guess if you want to share the last image I just sent you, we have one final announcement.
Oh, is there another one? Oh.
I'm not quite as chunky anymore. That is fair. Thanks for showing it. No problem. It needs love. No, Kash. No, you are taking horrible direction from Z, okay? I am not pregnant. There is not a baby.
No pregnante.
Every time I say there's a big announcement, they always jump to pregnant. I don't know why. I told them I was getting married and they were like, pregnant? I was like, no.
No.
I'm
Get your
going to be
minds off of this
the guest
topic.
host of the charity stream. Are you pregnant? No, I'm a guest host. That's my big, never mind.
Never mind. Yeah, that's where she goes every time.
Yeah.
Kills us.
Celadon says, question about EOC. Have they decided what form of combat they're going with? The ability, I believe, to switch between two forms of combat? I think so. Pregnante. Pregnant. Maybe you should word things better. I'm sorry.
Pregnant.
So, our... oh, that's interesting. Why is there a dark... I think I sent you a PNG. That was weird. Okay. Anyway. I don't know why there's a dark outline around it. I guess I'll have to go look at the file.
No, no, I opened it up in a browser.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Instead of saving it and
thought-
finding the file.
Gotcha. So we are actually, this is our last podcast for 2021. We have Iron Beardy as our last one.
I love it.
In some circles, he's known as Iron Smithy, but you know.
I'm going with it because the name tag never got changed back to Iron Smithy. So Iron Beardy is our last person for 2021. And we're going to be back on the 14th of January for our first episode of 2022. So yeah, really glad to go out with a bang. You've been a very amazing guest. And also I really love your point of view. So yeah.
Yes, you definitely made the nice
Really happy
list,
to have
as
you.
has everybody here, by the way.
This is really a low point for the year then. No. Glad I stumbled upon this tavern this evening. It's been wonderful. Well, thank you, Teledonas. Hello, Psycho.
Thank you for
Welcome
joining
in,
us.
even if last minute. Oh, thank
Yeah,
you
love
for the
hearing
follow,
your input.
Teledonas. Yes, no, seriously. I love having chat put out these like in-depth conversation pieces. I know it takes you a while to do it, so like you end up being a little behind of like us continuously changing topic, but I don't mind. I love it. Also, Bal, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
And
Vertec, I will let you
Mr.
do the honors.
Mr. Smith Beardyson,
Mm-hmm.
would you have any closing comments? Anything to tell viewers, or anything you'd like to get out there? Let people know about any projects or special things you have coming up. If you have a special stream or whatnot you want looking to do.
Ooh, well, we just wrapped up all our charity stuff. So nothing on that front, nothing massive coming out. Yeah, I don't know. We're doing things on YouTube. We're doing things live on Twitch, you know, sort of 5 days a week, pretty much. I'm a full-time content creator. So if ever you guys want to come check it out, feel free to do so. And we will be covering Ashes of Creation whenever we have the opportunity to do so. Alpha 2, as long as the NDA is still off and we're able to stream and make content on it, I will have YouTube videos up. I will have I'm actually planning a YouTube video right now that's sort of gonna catch us up from where I left off with my last one, sort of looking at what's changed, what's been announced. Probably gonna do that after this next Dove update with the new news that they got coming. And in the meantime, you know, we RP playing some GTA 5 online. So if that's or GTA 5 roleplay. So if you guys are ever interested in that, come check it out.
If that's your bag.
I haven't done roleplay in that game, actually. I did play the game, and then at the time, I had a different boyfriend. This is way before Vertec, but when that game first came out, I finished my finals before my then boyfriend, and when he got home, I had a bunch of different like Ferrari types in a garage, and he was like, "Where'd you get those?" I was like, "I don't know. I found one, and then they just kept popping up, so I just kept grabbing it and driving back to the garage."
Just kept grabbing.
I had like 10.
Nice, that's awesome.
I'm a horrible driver, so I needed to stock up.
All right.
Amazing.
So
I like it. So if you could get a poll going, if you wouldn't mind.
okay,
Let's see.
a poll.
What? Yeah, we have a choice of
Okay.
some Morg playing Elder Scrolls Online or Tech Deck playing Final Fantasy XIV. Where would people like to be
Thanks,
dropped
Paul.
off for the rest of night care? I would say
You're
daycare,
amazing,
but
Bal.
it's a little
Thank you
past
for the
the end
love,
of the day.
sir.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I got a 3-minute poll going.
All right.
Glad to see
right.
some members of the Forge coming out to check out the podcast today.
Appreciate it. Thank you. ISOC is amazing. This has been a fun evening. Thank you guys for doing this. Oh, no problem, Val. No problem. For those of you that don't know, hi. I'm going to plug us a little bit. We do a podcast on the community of Ashes of Creation. And part of that is finding community content creators who we haven't talked to specifically, and bringing them into our sphere, our little group of people, and getting to know their thoughts and opinions, and you know why they joined Ashes and things like that. So we are really happy to get to meet Iron Beardy and share him with you. And make sure
with
to go
Sugar
follow
Socks
him.
being here, that's gonna stick, right?
I apologize. Somebody on like one of your future Twitch streamers will be like, "Why are you being called Iron Beardy? Where did that come from?"
I love it. That's so awesome.
All right.
we
So
got
it looks like at this moment
3 for
we're halfway
Simurg.
through, and Simurg is winning the battle. And yeah, I could have
Thank you for the
totally
fuel. No problem.
could have totally picked up Bustin as well, but he's playing League. Not that I have anything necessarily against League so much as we try to stick as close to Ash's theme as possible typically.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We try. Sometimes nobody's playing normal MMO stuff though, so that
Oh
makes
my
it more
gosh.
difficult.
Yeah. Good old League, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You're gonna go to sleep. All right, Cash. Thank you for the 1 year. Also, I wanted to say, we are officially 9 months in with Z. So
Nice.
Z is a 9-month subscriber.
Oh,
Sugar Socks,
yeah.
welcome in. Thank you. Another episode. Oh no, what'd you clip? I'm scared.
Probably the Iron Beardy. Oh, you know it's gonna stick. Probably that. I imagine. That would always be a link to share.
Streamlabs rad you out, Sugar.
No, wait, that was an accident.
That was
All good, all good.
Alrighty, well, everybody, as we near the last few seconds of this, it looks like Cyborg is going to be our wiener. So
Yep.
I would like to thank everybody for stopping by. Much appreciated. We love you all. You could have been doing anything with your time, anything at all, including coloring your beard strange colors and shaving it off yourself right after a charity stream. However, you did not. You chose to come here and hang out with somebody else who did that. And we appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It has been an absolute pleasure. And maybe you can come back again sometime.
Oh yeah, definitely. If there's ever a topic that you're like, please get me on that list, we will definitely do so. Do you have the raid going for Sim, or shall I start it? Just knowing, because if one of us starts it, I can't do it. So. Okay, cool. We got it.
Oh no! Oh, it's going.
All right.
Okay, bye. No.
Oh,
All right.
wait, what?
That's right. I forgot. It was the getting ready. It was the getting ready thing.
Yeah,
that always
that was
gets
the
me every
getting
time. I'm
ready.
like,
I
oh
was
my
like,
god!
wait, no,
Forgot
it
to set a
says-
timer.
It says raid.
All right. Well, again, love you all. Have yourselves a happy day. Happy holidays. We will see you on the 14th of January.
And have a happy new year and a wonderful happy holidays, and stay warm and stay cozy.
Mm-hmm.